Hi there. I'm working on a shirt for a dart league right now, and one of the design elements that I need to add to the shirt is a starburst. The purpose of this tutorial is to show you how I use the rotate tool. I've struggled with this for quite a while. I never could really figure it out. I finally figured it out. So I figured I'd just show you how I did it so that it could save you a little bit of frustration. So what I have here is the template for my dart shirt. I need to have like a starburst down here in the corner that extends out onto the shirt. First thing I'm going to do is change the color of the background of the shirt. I'm going to use this red color. These are the colors that I've picked from the swatch palette that my manufacturer provided to me. I've added all these to my swatch palette here. So this shirt is going to be red. So I'm just going to click on the red swatch here. So next I want to make the first ray of my starburst. So to do that, what I do is I grab the rectangle tool and I just draw out a rectangle. So that I want this to be this color. So I'll just click on that. So it's not a ray right now, it's a rectangle. So I'm going to go into the curvature pen tool. I use this quite a bit for pretty much everything. I'm just going to click on this node here. And I'm going to hit my delete key on my keyboard. So now I have a triangle. So the ray is actually going to be a triangle, but not that shape. It's a little bit obtuse for my purposes. So I'm just going to grab this. I think that would be too wide. This would be just about right, I think. So right now the pivot point on this triangle is in the center. So if I spun this around, this would rotate around the center here. I don't want that. I want it down here. So I'm going to hit R on my keyboard and I'm going to click down here. So let's see what happens. So now it'll pivot on that point. And that's exactly what I want. So now I'm going to just double click, hold down on your Alt key and double click on this point. And it'll bring up the rotate tool. So right now we got to put in our angle that we want to rotate. I could put in 2 and say copy and hit Control D. And it'll keep rotating it around that. But that's only 2 degrees. These are a little bit close together, which is fine if you want to have make an entire circle. You keep going and it'll make the entire circle. But that's not what I want to do. My goal here is to get a starburst where it has several different colors and each different color is spaced out a little more than that. So I'm going to hold my Alt key again and double click. And I'm going to change it to about 20 degrees, or put it at an odd number. I'll say 17 degrees. And actually I want it minus 17 because I want it going this way instead of this way. Minus 17. So now when I hit copy, this is what it does. It moves at 17 degrees to the right. So I'm going to hit Control D. And there, I have enough of a starburst to get me started. So if you look in your layers palette, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 rays on this starburst. It's only a partial starburst, but this will be hidden and it'll be coming out the corner of the shirt, so I don't need a complete round circle. So I'm going to hit Shift and left click. Shift left click. And that'll select them all. So I'm going to hit Control G now to put them all in a group. So I'll go to my selection tool here. I can rotate this any way I like. Okay, so I'm going to put this bit right about here. Now that might look kind of weird, but if I haul this down, there's a clipping mask set up on the shape of the shirt there. So if I haul that down into the clipping mask, it hides it. So that's what I have as of right now. So what I want to do, I'm going to select that. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say transform. And I'm going to say scale, let's see. We're going to rotate that a little. Actually, let's go into transform each. That lets you do more than one transformation at a time. So I don't want to move it. I do want to change the angle to, let's see, 9 degrees maybe. Okay. So, and for the scale, I'm going to put it at 105%. I'm going to do that on both the horizontal and vertical to keep it proportional. Okay, so that should make that a little bit bigger and twist it around by 9 degrees to the left. So I'm going to hit copy. Alrighty. So you see what I did there. So these rays are a little bit longer than the original rays. So I want to do that to fill this in a little bit better. So I'm going to hit Control D and that'll repeat that process. And it makes them a little bit longer again. So just keep going. Okay. So what I have now is a kind of a funky starburst. It did move it. I don't know why it moved it. So I'm going to change the color of some of these. I'll make that this yellowy color. The next one, I'm going to make it this lighter lime green color. The next one, I'm going to make it this color. The bottom one, I'm going to make it white. This one, I'm going to make it black. And I think I have enough. I'm going to take out this last one. No need of it. So what you can do now is take each individual one, give it a twist. You can line the corner up with the corner of the shirt if you like. Okay. I'm going to turn the opacity off on this. Okay, so this one, this group, we want put right here. Now you can see it overextends the boundaries of the shirt itself because it hasn't been dragged down into the clipping mask yet. So I can rotate these any way I want. So if I move that over here, okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to turn the opacity off on this one now. And I'm going to turn this one on. Okay, select that one. So it overlaps the other one there, so I'm just going to move it around a bit. Turn this opacity back on. Okay. Turn this one on. Make sure it's selected. Pull it up here. Give it a twist. Move it over. Okay, Starburst is looking pretty good. I got kind of a roundabout way of doing things sometimes. I just go with the flow and do whatever works pretty much. Okay, so the last ones I made were the white one and the black one. So let's get that moved up and put it in place. Oops, select it again. Give it a little twist. Make sure that it fills in some of the spots where there's nothing at. It's not quite lined up. Oops, moved everything that time. Okay, make sure you got your white one selected. That's the only one we're dealing with right now. Okay. So to me, that looks fairly good. Now turn on your black one. That's right at the very bottom. So we're going to just want a hint of that black in there. when you line it up, it doesn't show up very good. And that's not what we want. So let's just move it around a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to just highlight all these starbursts that I just created. So you just click the first one, then you hold your shift key and click the last one down on your keyboard. You hold your shift key. So make a group, drag that group down into the clipping mask for your shirt. So when I deselect that, this is what I got. So kind of big. I want to put this original starburst into this group too. Right now it's at the very bottom. Let's drag it up and reposition it. Okay, that looks not what I want. I want it down. Oops. That looks better. Okay, so we got one group now and it contains all the starbursts. So if you click on this group, now we can adjust the size of this. So just select it and then you get your selection tool and go up in the corner, you'll get the double-ended arrow there. If you hold your shift key, you can make it smaller without changing the proportions of it. So if you want it this big, go with that, or you can drag it out however big you want it. You can make it cover the whole entire thing if you would like. And that looks pretty cool too. That's a little different, isn't it? I don't want it that big. Let's just make it a little bit smaller. Oops. Gotta be careful. Make sure you got your group selected. And there we go. Now you can go in individually into any of these layers and change it to any color that you want. If I wanted to change it to a blue color, cancel that. If I wanted to select this group and I want to change the entire color scheme of the whole thing, I could go into edit colors, recolor artwork. This is a pretty cool feature of Adobe Illustrator. So right now it's in the green yellow spectrum here. If you just grab this green color and go around this little wheel, you can make it pink, or you can make it red, or you can make it orange, yellow. But I like the green colors, and you can play around with whatever you want. The only thing, if you're dealing with a manufacturer who has a color chart, you need to have precise hex codes in order to get the colors that you want, the colors that you picked off your color swatch. Okay, so I'm just going to go with my original colors. I'll get rid of this. How? Oops. Cancel. Control Z. Z, 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 Z. Okay, let's just get rid of that. Okay, so this is the basis for our shirt. I think I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because they want a dartboard underneath this. Just going to drag that out. Did have a dartboard somewhere. Let's see what it's going to look like with a dartboard. Let's go into my shirt designs and resources. I get most of my resources from a place called VectEasy. I pay like $14 a month and I get unlimited downloads, photos, vectors, PNG files, SVG files, all kinds of stuff. So this is the one I want to open. It's an EPS file, so I'm going to say open. Yes. Excuse me. So this particular file has several different aspects to it. Right now, all I want is this dartboard. So I'm just going to click here. I'm going to hit Control C to copy. Go back into my document. I'm going to hit Control V to paste this. So I got to scale this down. So I'm going to hold my shift key to keep it proportionate and drag it in to about the size I want. So let's see. So we're going to drag this dartboard down into our shirt pattern here, into the clipping mask. And you can see that it's in there now, and that's what the actual shirt will look like. So I don't want it like that. I want to make it a little bit bigger, and I want it more down in the corner. Let's try this. Let's put the bullseye right on the corner. That looks pretty cool. Okay. Be kind of cool now if I put a shadow underneath this dartboard. Give it a bit of dimension. So to do that, I just select the entire dartboard group. Right here, this little sunshine thing is the appearance. I'm going to click on that. So if I go in here under effects and I go to stylize, I can get a drop shadow or an outer glow. I think I'm going to go with the outer glow. So right now you can, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a tiny bit of a glow around here. Not much. Screen, we're going to change that to multiply. And that changes it. You can see the shadow better. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Right now it's at 0.0694. I'm going to change that to 0.5. That'll be a half an inch. Okay, so you can see that the shadow extends a lot further out there now. Okay. That looks pretty neat. Okay. So, I know the purpose of this video was to show you how to rotate tool. Use the rotate tool. And I'll go over that again before the end of the video. I just want to put some shadows on these, or some outer glows on these rays. So I'm going to choose the black ray. I'm going to go into my appearance palette here under effects. I'm going to say stylize. Outer glow. I'm going to change it to what? A white color. Click on the white and say OK. And I don't want it 0.5. I only want it 0.1 of an inch. Say OK. Now when we deselect it, you can't really see it there now, but I'm going to zoom in and see. Because you got to understand, this shirt is going to be printed. It's going to be almost 1.5 to 2 feet across, depending on what size is ordered. So you don't see much of a black white glow on this black ray here. Let's go back in again. Under outer glow, it's on multiply. That's probably why it's not showing up. We're going to change it to screen. Okay, so you see that it's there a little bit. It's probably a little too big. 0.1 is probably too much. So I'm going to say 0.05. And I'm going to make the opacity 90. Okay, so you see the difference. So if I click on this again and I take the visibility of the outer glow off, goes away, and there you have it. Got the outer glow on that. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with the white rays, but I'm going to give it a black glow. Let's go into stylize, outer glow, change it to multiply. Okay, that looks pretty good. Looks like a shadow underneath it. Okay, and we're going to do the same with all these green ones. I'm going to give them a black glow too. The only thing got a white glow is the black ray. So the easiest way for me to do this, I'm going to get the white style here. And when you open your appearance palette, sometimes you get the graphic styles. If you don't get the graphic styles palette come up, you can always go in window, find graphic styles and click on it. But I can just grab it from here. So we got our white selected here. So I got my selection tool. So all I need to do is just grab that, drag it into our styles. Okay, so we got a new style in here now. Got no stroke, got a white fill with a black outer glow. So if I click on this green one, that's the little tiny one. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to get these. So I'm going to, that's a lighter green color. I'm going to open my swatches here. So it's this green. So when I choose this graphic style, it's going to choose the white color, but I can easily change it back to green. Appearance, outer glow. It actually saved it. That's great. So I'm just going to click this one, graphic style. Okay. Okay, so let's zoom this out now and see how good it looks. I think it looks incredible. Okay, so we got a bit of a dimension going on here. I think I might have made that dartboard a little bit too small. Too large, sorry. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Okay. There you go. So that's a great beginning to a dart shirt. If I have any sponsors I'll put on it, I'll put them here or here. I'll put a name here, probably a little dart banner logo or something cool. And I'll move on and continue on my process of designing the shirt for the Dart League. Do the back and sleeves, collar, zip, whatever they want. I hope you enjoyed this video. Before I finish up, I'm just going to do a real quick review of how I did the rotate. So I'm going to get a new file. I'm going to just get, I'm going to make a square this time. And I'm going to leave it as a white fill and a black stroke. So what I need to do, I need to hit R and click down here. I'm going to select this little pivot point. I'm going to hold my Alt tool and I'm going to double click. So now, let's change it to 5%. So when I hit copy and hit Control D, it continuously moves this thing along that pivot point by 5% each time, 5 degrees. So that's how you can rotate anything on an axis. Well, I hope you learned how to use the rotate tool today. It was a real confusing thing for me until I finally figured it out. So if you found this helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel.